The Nintendo 64 brings back a lot of memories for a lot of people. For many, the N64 represents the glory days of couch co-op gaming, sitting with friends around an old TV, blowing on the cartridge when it didn't work, even though that wasn't quite good for it, and duking it out in Mario Kart or Super Smash Bros. Nostalgia aside, the N64 had plenty of notable games, many of which proved monumentally influential to the gaming industry as a whole. Some remain incredibly rare to this day, making them some of the most expensive games ever. Welcome to Game Rant. My name is Cameron, and today we're counting down the 8 rarest Nintendo 64 games and how much they're worth. At number 8, Rat Attack. During an era in which most studios, Nintendo included, were stressing over flashier 3D romps, Pure Entertainment took a simpler, more grounded approach, at least in terms of presentation. In the multiplayer game Rat Attack, players assumed the role of intelligent lab rats set on dominating the world. However, to achieve this, they'll have to collect groups of rats via lasso as they pour into small rooms and frantically scurry about. While silly and shallow, its current asking prices are anything but, especially when it comes to the super rare new in-box copies of the game, which can go for upwards of $2,100. Coming up at number 7, Transformers Beast Wars Transmetals. This one-on-one brawler brings the vibe of an early Virtua Fighter romp, overlaid with the Transformers motif. Specifically, the game is an extension of the Beast Wars cartoon and toy line, allowing fans to throw down with their favorite Transformer bot. While it's a rather straightforward fighter, the unique beast and vehicle forms further add Transformers branded flair to the experience. Its late release and lack of attention relegated this to obscurity, and the loose card alone now sells for well over $100. Next up, Bomberman 64: The Second Attack. Bomberman 64: The Second Attack is one of the rarest N64 games due to a variety of combining factors. For one thing, it received poor reviews, which significantly hurt its sales. It also received minimal advertising from Hudson Soft, so not many people even knew that it existed. Finally, it was released quite late in the console's life cycle, with the GameCube arriving the following year. As a result, finding a complete copy of the game is exceedingly difficult, although they do still pop up on sites like eBay from time to time. A complete copy, even in rough condition, will cost you around $850. Up next, Worms Armageddon. Worms Armageddon is a turn-based tactics game from Team 17. Despite initially being released exclusively on PC, it was ported to the Nintendo 64 in the March of 2000. Finding the cartridge for sale at online stores isn't very hard, with these loose copies typically selling for around $250. However, complete editions of Worms Armageddon are significantly harder to find, and are among the most expensive N64 games. The current price for a new and sealed version of Worms Armageddon is around $3,000. At number 4, F1 Racing Championship. Racing games took off in the 3D landscape of the 90s and 2000s. One offering from the N64 lineup was F1 Racing Championship, which was also available for PC at the time. The game wasn't super popular on the N64 though, and cartridges of the game have become something of a rarity as a result. The current price for a loose copy is somewhere in the region of $530. A complete copy of the game, however, could fetch close to $2,000, with new and sealed ones regularly selling for more than $5,000. At number 3, Super Bowling. The fact that barely anyone has heard of Super Bowling is what makes the game so rare and expensive. Super Bowling was released in North America on January 15, 2001, close to the end of the console's lifespan. The N64 successor, the GameCube, launched 8 months later. The niche aspect of bowling video games, combined with the console's impending discontinuation, resulted in very few copies of the game being manufactured. As such, copies have been sold anywhere from $500 for the cartridge itself to new copies selling around $5,700, making it one of the few late N64 games still worth money. At number 2, Stunt Racer 64. Stunt Racer 64 remains one of the rarest games for the Nintendo 64. Even back in the day, this game failed to make an impact. It was overshadowed by the mighty behemoth that was Mario Kart 64. It was also released exclusively through Blockbuster Video, adding to its incredible rarity. A run-of-the-mill loose copy of this arcade racer will set collectors back around $340, and that's about as cheap as it gets, as obtaining a new sealed copy will mean spending around $7,200. Finally, at number 1, Clay Fighter Sculptor's Cut. Clay Fighter Sculptor's Cut is an updated version of the game Clay Fighter 63 1/3. It was released as a Blockbuster rental exclusive, meaning that it couldn't even be purchased. As such, most people argue that this is one of the rarest Nintendo 64 games in existence. Those who want a copy are going to have to cough up some major dough though. The cartridge alone costs upwards of $1,000, but a complete sealed copy will run you nearly $15,000. This is a true collector's gem. Although most of us will never get our hands on games like these, to collectors, they're worth every penny. Thank you for watching Game Rant. We'll see you next time.